back to my channel. My name is Sarah, for those of you who don't know me. Today I'm going to show you how to make ghee, or clarified butter, which is milk fat rendered from butter. You use it to cook with in your pans or pots like you would use an oil or butter to kind of grease your pans with. The reason you'd want to use ghee or clarified butter instead of oils or other butters is because it's healthier for you. It's lactose free as well, which is really nice if you have a sensitivity to milk products or lactose. And it's also good for your bones, it's good for your heart, and it makes your food taste great. Another benefit is that it has a really high smoke point, which means it's not going to smoke up your kitchen if you're trying to sear a steak or cook something at a high temperature. So next I'm going to show you guys everything you need to make clarified butter and the ingredients, which are pretty simple. You just need butter, which is great. I'm going to explain to you what kind of butter works best, and then I'll show you the entire process of how to make it. It's actually really easy. And a little side note, if you notice I'm always out of breath, it's because I am. Because I'm actually 15 weeks pregnant, so I'm gonna be out of breath a lot when I talk. I used to run 5 miles a day, and now I get out of breath standing in my kitchen. Okay, so all the ingredients you need to make clarified butter is butter, which is awesome. So the trick to finding the right butter to make your ghee with is to look at the ingredients. So we look at the ingredients on this butter, and we've got pasteurized cream and lactic acid. 2 ingredients, very simple. That's all you want. If there's any sort of vegetable oil or other mystery ingredients in there, I wouldn't recommend using it. Another great brand of butter is Kerrygold grass-fed cow butter. If you can find the unsalted kind, that would also work great. So I use 8 sticks of butter at a time. So there's 4 sticks in this package here. So we've got 2 packages of butter. A knife you're gonna cut up your butter with, cutting board. Just medium-sized pot, you don't need a lid. Then I use recycled coconut oil jars to store my ghee in. And then you're also going to need a mesh strainer and a pitcher to put your hot clarified butter in once it's done cooking. Last but not least, you want some sort of a cotton cloth. What works best is cheesecloth, but if you don't have any at the moment like me, or you just don't want to get any, you can just cut an old t-shirt, and you'd really just need it to fit over your mesh strainer like this so that you can't see any of the mesh strainer. We're going to be pouring the ghee into here, and it's just going to catch the milk solids, filter those out, and then we'll throw those away when we're done. So I'll show you what that looks like after we're done with the whole cooking process. Okay, so all you're gonna do is take your butter out of the packaging and cut it into blocks like this. This just makes it easier to melt, and then you're gonna put it all in your pot. Alright, now that you have all of your butter blocks in your pot, put it on the stove, and you're gonna put the burner on just a little bit over medium heat. Not super medium high, but kind of right in the middle there. Alright, and then you can just stir with a wooden spoon and watch it melt. One thing you want to make sure you can do while you're making your clarified butter is to keep a really close eye on your cooking butter. The 2 things you want to watch for are a first foam and a second foam. And I'm going to show you exactly what those look like. I won't make you sit and watch the entire process, but it does take maybe about 20 or so minutes for the entire cooking process to go through. So right in the beginning you can stir your butter a lot and make sure it's all blended together well. And then after that, after it's all melted, you can kind of let it cook, do its thing, stir it here and there, but just keep a close eye on it for that first foam. After the first foam, you're gonna stir it and keep an eye on it, stir every so often, maybe every minute or 2, and then watch really, really closely for that second foam of the clarified butter, and then that's when you know it's done. So I'm going to show you everything about what that looks like. Okay, now all my butter is melted, and I need to wait for it to bubble. It's gonna look like it's boiling, and we'll come back to it and I'll show you what kind of foam that is. This is just melted foam. This is not the first foam you look for. See how the butter is still very yellow? Once it gets closer to being done, it takes on more of an amber golden color. So you'll see what that looks like later on in the process. Alright, see how it's starting to bubble? That's good. You want to just let it bubble for a while and let it build up these big bubbles that'll turn into a big foam. See how the bubbles are starting to form a nice thick foam layer? That's our first foam that we're looking for. You can stir it maybe every few minutes or so just to make sure that all the milk solids are scraped off the bottom so they don't burn. Alright, so here's our first foam. See how there's a complete layer on top, it's still bubbling. You can stir it now, and then what's going to happen gradually after this is that the bubbles are slowly going to start to calm down, and it's going to seem like it's going to stop boiling for a while, and that's good. Now after this, you want to keep stirring every 1 or 2 minutes. Alright, here's our second foam. See how it's rising to the top? This is when you want to flip your burner off and take it off the heat. You'll be able to smell it. It's going to smell great. And then give it a stir. Make sure all those milk solids aren't sticking to the bottom at all. Notice the darker color. It's not a super bright yellow anymore. That's what you want. Alright, take a look at that. Can you see the milk solids at the bottom? This is the part where we're going to bring it over and put it in our strainer with the either cheesecloth, or you can use an old t-shirt like me. Just make sure the t-shirt's not dirty. Alright, so we're going to pour our cooked clarified butter into our cloth over the mesh strainer. You see those milk solids at the bottom of the pan? You even want to pour those in because you're going to get a lot of good flavor out of the milk solids. You can squeeze out every last bit of clarified butter sticking to those milk solids. So get spoons, scrape those out, and get those all in your cloth just like that, and just let it settle, let it drain out. Alright, see all of our milk solids that stayed in our cloth? That's what we're going to throw out. And if you want, you can fold it in half while it's still in the mesh strainer like this. This is what I do. Just fold it in half, make sure it's all still sitting in the mesh strainer. And then you're going to take a spoon, just press down on the milk solids and get every last piece or every last bit of clarified butter out of it. So I threw away my milk solids and I just wash the rag. I keep it and reuse it. You can, or just get a new one depending on what you want to do. I'm going to take off my mesh strainer and we can check out and see what we're left with. So that's our clarified butter. It's liquid when it's warmed up, but once it's at room temperature for a while, it is going to get solid, but it's still really hot right now, so I'm going to let it sit in the sink for about 10 or 15 minutes and cool off, and then we're going to transfer it to our jars. Alright, now we're going to transfer our clarified butter into our jars. that is about how much clarified butter you're gonna get 2 jars worth out of that. We started with 8 sticks of butter, so it does cook down a little, but you get a good amount. We paid maybe, I don't know, $4 or $5 tops for all that butter, and you get 2 big jars of clarified butter out of that. That's gonna save you a lot from buying it at the store because it's a lot more expensive.
Hey guys, we have our little taste tester Gabriel here. He's going to taste our clarified butter for us, and he's going to let us know, hopefully, if he likes it. And I just want to show you right here, it's still in a liquid form, but once it sits in your house at room temperature for a few hours, it'll turn into more of a solid, not really hard, but it won't be liquid. So here we go. I'm going to use my finger, because it's just us. Alright, I'm gonna taste it. Mmm. Is that good?
Yeah, you.
You like it? I think he likes it.
Yeah, you.
Okay, say bye to everybody. Good job. Thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and please subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.